My name is Femi Cole. I am the leader and chairperson of the Unity Party. Unity Party was founded in 2016, and I I looked at the political scene and I wanted to really get involved because I felt that there were so few women, and women really do are they're the first teachers in a human being's life, really, in many cases, especially in our African context. And there were so few women. Initially, I thought about joining one of the established political parties, and I thought they're male dominated. The women are in those political parties almost like a token. And I thought, why not form a political party? The idea that I floated to my friends, family members, everybody rejected it and said it wasn't a viable project, that especially a female led political party couldn't stand the test of time, couldn't win, all the negatives, that the two big parties have dominated the scene, the political scene in Sierra Leone, and there was no way. And by profession, I'm a nurse, I'm an ICU nurse, I've been for over 20 years. And I have seen so many cutting edge things and techniques that I do not believe that I've never incorporated the one it isn't possible into my vocabulary or into my psyche. And I thought, well, if nobody has done it or nobody has been able to sustain one, then that's my challenge. I am going to actually form a political party. It's not going to be a female political party, a woman political party. It's going to be a political party led and formed by a female. And hopefully, we'll be able to show that it is possible. And I think role models, female role models, are so few and far between in our own setting that I actually evolved myself, evolved into an ambassador. I said, I want the young girls to actually see that it is possible for a woman to still be a mom, still be a politician, and still be a success. So that was my motivation. That was my main motivation. That if basically, if the men can do it, I see no reason why the women couldn't do it too. And not meaning to stereotype, but African women, I think our strength and our possibility is always understated. So I I thought actually forming a political party was going to be simple. It was going to be straightforward. The systems are there. I can fill out the forms. No. Forming a political party in Sierra Leone is an close to as impossible a task as they could possibly make it. There are so many layers of bureaucracy that somewhere along the line, even the men who tried to start political parties end up quitting. I wasn't about to. I became the butt of many jokes, snide comments, snide remarks, but um, I didn't let any of that deter me or stop me. And I was actually able to contest in 2018. And I said after the elections that I was a proud loser, that for the time the party was registered to the time we contested was so short that I think I could tap myself on the back and say, well done. And the prediction that many made of the Unity Party was that we were going to die immediately after the elections. Losing was just going to be such a devastating blow that I was going to fade away and the party was going to die. And it didn't happen because the more I became involved in the political scene, the more I realized that women were a key component, a missing component in the political arena. And if I were to quit, what message would I be sending to the women, to the girls, to even the men who were supporting me? Saying, I mean, I had even men who traditionally were not, didn't want women in politics, didn't want women in positions of power, were actually supporting me. And I began to, as I really got deep into the political scene, I realized that there were so many things that were wrong in not just in politics, but in our society. And I realized that what we were lacking were were leaders and leaders who what Sierra Leone really needed, I felt, not necessarily being president at all cost, but people who were political leaders that could show that things can be done differently. Things, it doesn't have to be business as usual. That we can have a message and stick to it. We can have a vision and see it through. And so for me, I see my political life as being a real example. So anybody who's entering into politics, or especially for women and girls, to say it's not going to be easy. I mean, I've been arrested twice. I've been incarcerated for like 5 days. No charges were brought. My passport was seized. And with all that, I could feel that the public was waiting to see she's going to crumble. After this, she surely will crumble. And what they've seen is me actually getting stronger, getting bolder, getting braver, and daring to be heard, and having the audacity to stand up and speak truth to power, whether by tweets, whether by my press releases, whether by my interviews, whether by my videos, is to constantly call them out and tell them and tell the public that sometimes you do the right thing simply because it's the right thing to do, not because you hope for financial compensation, not because you're hoping for a big job assignment, simply because it is the right thing to do. And showing that we may not all have the same love for country, but in any country, for any place to develop, there are those, maybe a handful. It doesn't have to be the entire nation, but to be part of the few that are really going to stand up, feel the pain of others, and simply advocate and do the right thing. Just doing the right thing, not because your religion tells you to, not because your upbringing tells you to, because your spirit tells you that what you're doing matters. And honestly, the past 5, 6 years have been unbelievable. I mean, the obstacles are just too many to number, too many to explain. The cyberbullying and the but at the end of the day, for every, let's say, 10 horrible comments or some kind of insult, I've been called a prostitute, I've been called this, I've been called that, and putting all that aside, today I was in a store. I was buying building materials, and a lady walked into the store. I never met her, never knew her, never seen her before. And she spent almost 2 minutes just praying for me and wishing me well. And the store owners were just like shocked. They didn't know who I was. She obviously walked in and immediately recognized me. And she thanked me. And I felt so moved and inspired and determined to keep on going. This is supposed to be short, but this, and another thing that I can honestly say, stop. Okay, we're just coming through an election which was completely rigged, and we have a government that they are complete bullies, and for speaking up you get arrested, for protesting you get killed. and for my support of the women that has been unconditional. I was mentioned in the CSE, the report that investigated the August 10th riot. They're calling it a riot. It wasn't a riot, it was a protest. And my name was mentioned as a person of interest. And the accusations in that report were so wild. And almost all of it was based on no fact at all. But this is the climate in which we're working. This is the climate in which, and somebody said to me today, that's Femi, just stay quiet. Don't talk. You can't be the only one talking. I said, well, sometimes it takes just a few of us. And you know what the risk is. The risk is loss of your life and loss of your liberty. But how can you be silent if everybody else is so scared? You must simply just pray and hope for strength. That's what I do. But sometimes I am so upset at the injustice that's all around me. The disqualification of my political party was based on fiction, was based completely on fiction. And I took them to court. And in the court, about to present our case, argue our case, and the judge said he will call us back for a ruling without the due process, sidetracked the due process, denied us our day in court to argue that the PPRC, the Political Parties Registration Commission, was wrong. And he simply told us he would notify us of the day to come into court for his ruling. That level of injustice. This is against the political party that has the political voice. So imagine the people who have no voice, who have no Facebook page, have no Twitter accounts. They're at the mercy of a government that's just nothing but a bully, an absolute bully, who can look at the votes being tallied, not wait for the numbers to come in and announce a winner. That level of injustice, that level of disrespect to the electorate who stood in line, stood under the sun, is what keeps me motivated. If I am to be brief, which I don't know how many minutes I've been, I think I should stop here. Again, my name is Femi Claudius Golf.